My name is Oluseyi Aladisomi. I'm a Research Associate at the Center for the Studies of the Economies of Africa. Wow, it takes a lot to be a researcher. From being able to think independently to being self-motivated, to a lot of other key things that you need to become a researcher. One thing I know is you need to also learn on the job, because it takes continuous improvement, which I believe came from a word called Kaizen. The whole idea is just to seek continuous improvement. Oh, wow. So the steps and processes for research, I don't think there's any particular kind of step, but at the same time, there's some rules of thumb when you come to being a researcher. The journey is very long, but some of the processes which are really common is you first need to have an outline when you want to embark on any kind of research. When you have an outline of what you want to achieve in the research, it becomes easier. Then you have, depending on the nature of research, because there are different outputs of research, like for instance, there are blogs, there are articles, there are papers, there are journals, there are working papers, and so on and so forth. You can tweak them as the case may be. Then you need to source for documents that are pertaining to what you want to research on. Then you also need to know your research objectives and your research questions as well. The thing about research is it's very wide, and if you don't streamline it into a certain set of things, then it's very easy to write off topic, especially in this economic research line that we are in. Never forget to reference as well, because every thought was got from somewhere, and there's always a literature. So that's one important thing to know as a researcher, that you always need to have a point of reference, something that always gives you a nod that what you're saying is the right thing. Have one or two people proofread, most of the time your colleagues, and then you could also brainstorm to see if you can actually get some ideas, because a lot of times what I found out is when you're just talking casually as well with your colleagues, you just stumble across an idea and then boom. Right. And there's no one that can deny as a researcher that you've not had creative blocks at some point in time. It happens for a lot of different reasons. The first thing that top-notch researchers always say, like as we have our directors always tell us over here, is you always have to have a clear head when you're doing some research. So there's a point in time where you have to do some extensive reading and it's not just forthcoming. So you have to take a step back, and then the point at which you'll be able to come back to start doing some other reading. Then also there's some times that the research question that you've created for your research might be too broad. So you have to revisit that. That's one way to solve creative block. You have to kind of streamline it. So another way to tackle the creative block is to have an open mind and think outside the box. So sometimes you might just want to be going with the data, but also economics is broad in the sense that it's always contrasting arguments about for and against. And if you're able to prove your fors and you're able to prove your against, then you're able to pass home the message better, because there's no yes or no answers in most topics with economics, but there's facts, and we normally back our facts up with data and theories, proven theories as well. So that's another way to tackle the creative block. At this point in time, I love research just simply for the fact that it's an opportunity to learn based on facts. So you don't speak based on what you think it is, you speak on based on what you know it is. And that's what we normally do here, evidence-based research. And it's something that at some point in time, in any field that you're in, you have to undergo some kind of research to be able to be called an expert in your field. So research is something that I personally encourage everybody to take out time to do, even if your core job field is not in research. Just research based on what you're working on. So yeah.
Even a videographer like myself.
Even a videographer like yourself.